Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, the lot of people of the tube. Hope you're all today, up here in grand way in your world. I do hope you enjoyed that intro. Accidentally stood on a pedal then. It's a bit messy towards the end, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I might have to record that properly. Anyway, Q&A Wednesday, everybody. Haha, we're here again. Let's get to question one. Question one today is, what Vox or Crybaby could be similar, Dave? I can't talk. It's my problem. I should just sew this shut and just let this talk instead of me. Anyway, what Vox or Crybaby would be similar, got it that time, to the WH10 by Ibanez. I always recommend the Vox WH, the V487, 847, 7491. It's the silver-topped one, the one that Jimi Hendrix, looks like the one that Jimi Hendrix used. I always recommend that because it's got the same amount of kind of sweep as the WH10 the Vox has. Crybabies don't have that. Crybabies are more immediate and they're not, I don't know, they just don't have the right kind of tonality to kind of like, to kind of get close to that WH10 thing, because unfortunately, no matter what you ever do, you're never going to get close to that WH10 sound without actually having a WH10 because they are so distinctive. That just that kind of, you know, that's a real distinct sound to the WH10, you know, made famous by our friend John. But so what I'd recommend is the Vox. Say the silver top one. It's really cheap. It's like 70 quid here in the UK, but it's the silver top one. And what I'd recommend you do is you boost that with a distortion pedal or an overdrive pedal. So you basically set the pedal up to be kind of slightly distorted, and have that on the, as you're looking at the pedal, on the left side of the pedal. So it's input basically. So you're going from the overdrive or slash distortion into the Vox wah, and if you run them both together, you'll get a pseudo kind of WH10 sound. Like I say, it's never going to sound 100%, but that's what, excuse me, that's what I do on my gigging board if I want that kind of throaty, deep Vox wah sound. I tend to stick my Marshall Governor pedal on first, roll down the volume on my guitar to about 6 or 7 depending, and then use my Vox wah to and through kind of like both of them together, it kind of does simulate that kind of thing. One thing it doesn't quite get is the grittiness of a WH10. That's the only thing it doesn't quite get. It's not as raw sounding, but it does get you close. So that's what I'd recommend you do, wah pedal wise, is definitely Vox. Crybaby, no. I'm not a fan of Crybabies at all. I've got one, but I don't like it. It's not really my kind of favourite wah pedal. It's very low down the list on wah pedals for me. So I would recommend the Vox. It's like the V487 or something. I don't know. It's the silver topped one. That's all I know of it. I'm not very good with numbers and stuff like that. Tried to deal with Gibsons a long time ago. It's like, oh, this is a 335. This is a 345. This is a 355. This is a 175. It's like, what the hell is happening? Stick to simple names. Anyway, I hope that's answered your question. Going on to question 2 now. Okay, so question 2 today. Do you have any tips on getting Rory Gallagher's tone out of an amp? And do you think you could ever do a How to Play Like Rory series? Yes, the How to Play Like Rory series is coming. I can say that in no uncertain terms, because I am definitely doing a How to Play Like Rory Gallagher series. I'm also going to do a How to Play Like Paul Kossoff series as well. And hopefully, before March, I'll have started both. Fingers crossed. The Rory one is hard work, and Rory's tone is hard work because Rory had many different sounds. If you look at like his Taste period to his first solo album, they're slightly different. They're very similar, them two though, because he's using the same gear. But as soon as Lou Martin came to his band and he did the Irish Tour CD and that kind of period where he's playing these with Lou Martin on keyboards, his tone differs. It changes. Because he's using Fender amps instead of Vox amps. So that's where Rory's tone changes. And then once Lou Martin leaves the band, it becomes a 3-piece with Ted McKenna on the drums. It changes again because he's gone to using Marshall and Ampeg and Vox. and then it changes again later on in life when he starts using pedals. So it's really hard to pin down Rory to one sound. Rory had many different sounds, and if you listen to his studio recordings, there's a million different tones on there. You like just a bad penny, like the rhythm guitar is different to the lead guitar, and the overdub guitars are different to the lead guitar and the rhythm guitar. Rory was a tone machine. He had different sounds pretty much all the time, depending on what he was using and, you know, how maybe even how he felt that day. So it's really hard to pin down Rory to one sound and go, that's distinctively, that's Rory Gallagher, because he had so many different sounds. If you compare the tones he's got in like 94 to 95, they're totally different to the tones he's got in 1968, 69, and they're totally different to the sounds he's got in like 83 to 84. It's really hard to pin him down to one sound. But what I would say, to get Rory's sound, you need a Strat with 5-position selector. You need to be in position 2 to get Rory Gallagher. He does go down during Taste and some of his early solo stuff, not all his early solo stuff, this is more Taste kind of period. Rory didn't really use out of phase, he didn't use position 2 and 3 on his Strat, he mainly used bridge and neck and middle on occasion for songs like Morning Sun. But Rory would predominantly use position 2, let me see if I can kind of simulate what I mean. He would really kind of stick to position 2 a lot. It was very kind of... This got a strange out of phase. Yeah, I can't really get out of phase as well. Yeah, I can't really get out of phase so well on this guitar because it's only got a 3-way selector. But that is key. You need a 5-way and you need it in position 2. That is key, and that's one thing that annoyed me about the Rory Gallagher signature model that Fender brought out, is that a 3-way selector in it. You had the original! Disappointment was not the word when I played it. Okay, so that's one thing I would say. Another thing too is, look into the periods of Rory you like the most. Because, like I say, position 2 he used 99% of the time. He really loved out of phase. At position 2, he used it so much. But look into what period you want to emulate of Rory's. My favourite period of Rory's is the Ted McKenna era, where it's him, Jerry McAvoy and Ted McKenna. The 3-piece, where he's using Marshalls and Ampeg and Vox. I really love that period. And that's the sound I always try and emulate. But again, he's still using position 2 on his Strat. Or if he's got his Duo Sonic, it's his bridge pickup. But look into that. Look into what kind of period you want to emulate. If it's Taste period, if it's his early solo, his first solo album, is it the Lou Martin kind of years? Is it the is it the Ted McKenna years where it's a 3-piece? Is it later on with Brendan O'Brien? All those kind of Brendan O'Neill, even get it right. Brendan O'Brien, he's Reducer Dave. Anyway. But yeah, look into kind of what period you want, because it's really hard, and I'll talk about this more in the Rory series when I get to it, because there's so much stuff up here I've researched on Rory I want to get out to all you lot. Look into what period you want, and then try and go for that sound, because you can't put him in a box and say that's Rory Gallagher. It's not like John Frusciante or Jimi Hendrix where they had that sound. That's their sound. Rory had many different sounds throughout his career, so it's really hard to put it down to one sound. But like I say, position 2 is key. Position 2 on a Strat, bridge and middle pickups on all the time. That's the key to Rory's sound, especially his later sound. Not necessarily Taste. Taste is just bridge pickup. It's just bridge pickup kind of stuff, and middle and neck. Neck for kind of for his kind of crazy soloing, but that wasn't very good or even remotely close to Rory. Sorry, Rory. But yeah, so it's hard to just kind of like pin it down. But like I say, look into which period of Rory you like the most, and then if you can let me know which one that is, I'll see if I can expand on this. So yeah, I mean, like I say, it is really difficult to kind of to pin him down. But I'll get to more of Rory's tone and all that kind of thing in my Rory series when I get to filming it and doing it, which hopefully will be soon. And I say I've got Paul Kossoff as well, which is what I do as well. Paul Kossoff compared to Rory Gallagher is a lot more simple, because Paul, he was one of those, that's his sound, that's it. You know, it's a Les Paul into a Marshall, that's it. Rory was just like different every week, you know, depending on what he played through and how he felt. I'm pretty sure it's mad. Anyway, I know that's not the best answer in the world, and I'm really sorry about that, but, you know, I hope that might help. And I say, leave a comment on this video when you get chance, when you've had a bit of a think about what kind of period you want to go through, and I'll address it in another Q&A, and we'll try and kind of like, you know, take this a bit further. Okay, so moving on to question 3 now. Okay, so question 3 today is, I'm planning to get a new guitar. What neck, size, scale, radius, nut width, etc. is best for John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix style? And also, what do you think of warm-off custom guitar parts? First off, I've never tried any warm-off guitar parts, so I can't comment on that as if they're good or they're bad. I haven't used them. I don't like to say they're good or they're bad if I haven't actually personally experienced it, so I can't really comment on that. But guitar-wise, for the best guitar for John and Jimi is a Strat. I mean, that's as much as that's kind of like, you know, probably that, you know, the basic answer. It really is true. It really is. It's like, you know, John and Jimi reside in here. This is where they live. You can also have Telecasters to an extent and Les Pauls to an extent, but tonally, a Strat is where it's at. If you know what I mean, like, you know, it's just the sound of a Stratocaster, the Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante sound. So that's where it's at. But the problem is this, with me saying that, and there is a big problem with me saying that. John and Jimi's style lies in the Strat. That's where it comes from. That's where the tone comes from. But the problem is that might not be the guitar shape and neck for you. You might not like it. You might. I don't want you to go out and buy a Strat, pick it up and go, I can't play this. I don't like the neck. I don't like the width of the neck. I don't like the way it feels, and I don't particularly like, you know, where the dials are. You know, I don't know. You know, because then you're going to come and try and kill me because it's my fault for recommending you go out and buy a Strat. So what I would say here is what I'll be going for is, it's always good to try before you buy them. What you want to be kind of doing is you want to be going to try different guitars, and if it ends up being, say, like for instance, like a Les Paul that feels best to you, like the neck of a Les Paul feels best to you, and it just sits in your hand, it's really comfy, you like the switching, you know, and it speaks to you, like in here, like, you know, when you pick it up and you play it, you're like, oh, that's it, that's the one. Then you want to buy the Les Paul. You don't want to buy the Strat, because the Strat, regardless of how much you might kind of like, you know, want that, because, you know, it's what John used. If it doesn't feel right, don't get it. You know, or if there's like 6 or 7 Strats, try them all. You know, and if none of them work, go for something else. Try a Telecaster. Try all sorts of different things. But it's really difficult for me to recommend, like, you know, neck size, radius, and all that kind of thing, because that comes down to just basically your preference. It's very easy for me to stand here, and a lot of guitar people just go, oh, just go buy a Strat. You know, easy. But there are so many pitfalls with people saying that. I mean, it comes down to what is comfortable to you as an individual, not what people are telling you. You need to try everything. Even a beginner, you need to sit down with a guitar and strum it, regardless of your ability, regardless of how good you are, how rubbish you are, or whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is the instrument you're buying, the guitar you're buying, needs to speak to you. It needs to be comfy. You need to get on with it. There is no point going out there and buying a Les Paul on somebody's preference, you getting it home and going, oh, this is too heavy and I don't like it and I can't play it properly, and it's just, you know, because then you're lumped with it, so to say, and it's not good. You want to spend your time really trying to find the guitar that works for you. So I can't, you know, like I say, if the best kind of like tonally guitar for John and Jimi is a Stratocaster, but it doesn't have to be Fender, it doesn't have to be the Fender vintage style that they used. You know, it doesn't. You know, it could be vintage, Squire. You know, Revelation, Ibanez, Jackson. It could be any of these guitars, as long as they've got single coil pickups. And if they don't have a single coil in the bridge, if that's a humbucker and that's single coil, it's still viable, because you just need that single coil on the neck, which is really where John and Jimi lies, in the neck pickup, a single coil pickup. So just try different brands, different shapes, different necks, and see what feels best to you. You might find you like a really skinny neck with a flat fretboard like an Ibanez, and you might pick up a reissue Strat and go, ugh. You know, so you'll want to go for the Ibanez. You know, you might find you like Les Pauls, you might find you like Telecasters, you might find you like Jackson Dinkies or Flying V's or whatever. You know, you have to find a guitar that works for you regardless, really. It has to be comfortable for you, and you have to be able to play it comfortably. Otherwise, you're just not going to progress. You're just going to, like, you know, you're just going to get stuck there with a guitar that, you know, you're going to struggle with. You don't want that. You want a guitar that you look at and wants to inspire you to play. So, as far as it goes, anything with single coil pickups, really, but try everything. Try everything. That is my main advice for anybody buying a guitar. Try everything you can, because you never know what's going to work for you. You really don't. And it's really important for you to find what works for you, not anybody else. You are the most important thing when buying a guitar, not anybody else's opinion. You're the most important thing. Okay, so I'm sorry, that's not really an answer again, but, like, you know, like I say, it's a Strat sound, Jimi and John. So, you know, but that's just single coil pickups. So take from that what you will, and I hope that's answered your question anyway, you know, a little bit. And yeah, I hope you can take something away from that. So get me on question 4 now. Okie dokie, I don't know what that is. But anyway, let's get on with it. Question 4. What's the best intermediate range amp to go for? Something bigger than a practice amp, but not head and cab. Aiming to get John Frusciante's tone. Intermediate. There's a couple of amps I would recommend for that kind of, like, you know, if you want a gig but you want to practice quiet, but it's not, like, you know, humongous amp. There's the PV Bandit Red Stripe. They are incredible amps. They are really, really good amps. They are amazing amplifiers, and you can pick them up normally dirt cheap. They're really cool, and they're great. The vintage setting on the lead channel for John is wicked. I think I did a video on that. They're really, really cool. So yeah, the PV Bandit Red Stripe is one. The Marshall 100 DFX, the older model 100 DFX, that's another awesome amp for John as well. It's just a 112 combo, but it is absolutely awesome, and it does so much. It does so many tones. It's just like, ah! It really is awesome. But is there anything else I can think of? I mean, there's also the Orange CR series. You know, the 120 combo does John, but that might be a little bit big if you're after something that's kind of like, you know, a little bit portable, because it's a 212 combo. It's quite big, and it's a lot more expensive than, say, the PV Bandit or the Marshall MG. Don't go for the CFX or the FX MG. They're terrible. Get the DFX. They're, you know, the older ones. Is there any other amps I can think of? I mean, there's quite a few. My brain isn't working. I don't know. I mean, they're the two I would recommend anyway. It would be the PV Bandit Red Stripe and the Marshall MG DFX. If you wanted something a little bit bigger than that, I would definitely recommend the Orange CR120C, because that, excuse me, that is unreal. I love that amp. So cool. But But yeah, those three would be the ones I'd recommend. Like the CR120C, not so much so if you're kind of like on a space and a tight budget. But the MG and the Bandit are definitely a good way to go for that kind of like, you know, giggable but usable at home and usable at practice and for recording and all sorts of other fun stuff. They're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You really can't go wrong with them. So that's the two I would recommend, definitely. Is there anything else you asked? Yeah, and especially for John Frusciante tone, using the overdrive channel on the MG and the lead channel on the Bandit, you just, you know, just keeping the gain down low really gives you that kind of, you know, that real that kind of, you know, that real kind of John Frusciante kind of classic kind of tone. You know, but yeah, I mean that's the orange. But anyway. But the CR120C sounds exactly the same. You know, I mean, it's going through 4 speakers here, but the CR120C through 2 speakers doesn't sound much different at all. You might have to increase the low end a little bit, but I doubt it highly. But yeah, those 3, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to move on to question 5 now. Okay, before we move on to question 5, actually, question 4, coming back to that one quickly, best intermediate amp to go for. People of the Tube, what would you recommend? Leave a comment below for this fellow, and let's help him out. Okay, so question 5. When playing a guitar unplugged, can you tell how good it's going to sound for a decent or a crappy amp? Is there a link? A lot of people say this. I mean, like people like Gary Moore, and quite a lot. I've come across this a lot through playing. Like people say you can tell how good a guitar is going to be by the way it sounds acoustically. But I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if a guitar's loud, that's quite loud for an unplugged electric guitar. I mean, it's always going to be loud for an amp. If that makes any sense, because of the nature of the guitar. But is there any link to how the guitar sounds acoustically to when it's plugged in? I don't really know, because well, this is, you know, if I get really close, this is what the Black Strat sounds like really close. Now if I go back here and now I go through the amp, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I don't really go into that kind of stuff very deep, if I'm being honest. Like, at the end of the day, a good guitar is a good guitar, regardless of how it sounds plugged in or not. I mean, you know, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But like I always say, there is something in everything. There is always something in everything. You can always find, like, something cool in something bad, and something bad in something good. You know, there's always these kind of, like, you know, strange little nuances in these things, but, like, you know, you can always find something in there, even if it's not working, if that makes any sense. But as for the whole kind of, you know, does it sound acoustically, does it make any difference how it sounds electrically? I don't know, because, you know, when it's acoustically, you're not using your pickups, and, you know, they'll have a tonal change on the guitar when you actually kind of like turn it up. I mean, you know, because if I go to a bridge pickup, I would say this guitar, if you're going to put a gun to my head, I would say this guitar sounds closer to the neck pickup unplugged. Yeah, it sounds closer to the neck pickup unplugged than it does the bridge pickup. Because the bridge pickup, this guitar, it sounds warmer when it's unplugged, basically, or if the volume's down. It sounds warmer. It's more of a kind of a neck pickup kind of sound. Whereas when it's plugged in, on the bridge pickup it's a lot brighter. So I don't know. It's a little bit of experimentation there, everybody. But I don't know. It's difficult to say, really. It really is difficult to say. I mean, some people will swear by it. Some people will swear by the whole thing of, like, you know, you knock on the neck, you knock on the body, and if they sound the same, it's going to be a great guitar. They'll stand by their thing of, like, you know, it has to be this certain width and this certain wood, and it has to be this certain thing, this, that, and the other. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, really. So I don't really know. I don't really know. I mean, to me, like I say, a good guitar is a good guitar, regardless of what it is. And if it's comfortable to play, and I just like the way it feels, and it like I said, like earlier on, talking about like buying a new guitar, if it speaks to me internally, then, you know, that's fine for me. I'm going to get on with it. If it doesn't do that, then I'm not going to get on with it. I don't have many preferences when it comes down to what kind of guitar I'll play and what I won't play. If it's got 6 strings on it, I want to play it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a Stratocaster nut, but I love guitar. I don't care what shape it is, I don't care what make it is, I don't care what model it is. There's bad ones, there's good ones, there's terrible ones, there's atrocious ones, there's stunning ones, and there's life-changing ones. But I don't know. I feel it, like, to me personally, I feel like it's a little bit of a black hole. It's a rabbit hole that you can dive in and you can get a bit lost in there, instead of actually just kind of, like, you know, focusing on if the guitar is right for you. Does it feel right? Does it, you know, does it speak to you? Because if it speaks to you, then certain things can be done to make it sound the way you want it to sound. Different pickups, different wiring, different electrics, all that kind of stuff. But its key is, does it speak to you? What does it make you feel? You know, that's kind of key. But as far as the, you know, unplugged thing to it plugged in, I don't really have an opinion on that. I don't really know. Like I say, this guitar sounds to me more unplugged, like it's a neck pickup guitar, and then the bridge pickup sounds brighter. It sounds totally different when it's on the bridge pickup to the neck. So I don't know. I don't know. It could be guitar neurosis. I don't know if that's the word. But yeah. Anyway, I don't really know myself. What do you think out there in YouTube land? Do you think there's a difference between the guitar unplugged and then plugged in, and can you tell if it's going to be a good guitar unplugged before you plug it in? Because come to think of it now, I have played some guitar. I've played some guitars in the past that you play them acoustic and you think, God, these are going to be brilliant, and you plug it in and it's actually not that great. I played an old Fender Coronado once. Well, unplugged, it was really good. It was loud. It was very rich sounding because it was hollow bodied. You plugged it in, it just wasn't there. It sounded terrible, absolutely terrible. It sounded lifeless and dull. So I don't know. I mean, I think you got to take things for what they are at the end of the day. You know, I don't know. It's a funny thing. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. Anyway, it's like I say, people of the tube, what do you think? Going to move on to question 6 today. Final question of the day. Okie dokie question 6 today. Last question of the day. Why do you think John preferred the key of D minor? And do you have a favourite key? And if so, why? I don't know. Rory Gallagher loved D minor as well. A lot of Rory songs come out of D minor, like Bad Penny, A Million Miles Away. I don't know. D minor, in the words of Nigel Sufnell, was saddest of all keys. I don't know. There's just something very nice in D minor. I mean, it is a very emotional key. I mean, that sounds really silly, but certain keys do bring out certain emotions. I mean, if I just quickly do something. that's in D minor. It's a very emotional sounding key. It's got a real somber sound to it. I mean, if I did the same kind of thing in like, say, let's do it in E minor. More of a hopeful sound, whereas D minor is a lot more sad and not dead endy, but it's kind of like, you know, there's not as much hope there as there was in E minor, if that makes any sense. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but to me that's kind of what that feels like. Also, again, D minor could suit John's voice. It could just be that. It could just be the fact it suits his style of singing, the tone of his voice, you know, all sorts of stuff. It could be anything. A quote from Rory Gallagher. Somebody asked Rory Gallagher, why does he never down tune? Because he would always be in standard tuning, and his words were, he scares the hell out of him to down tune. He didn't want to down tune. He says he hates it. So you know, using D minor instead of E minor, which is kind of like, you know, a lot of guitarists' favourite key, E minor, because it's a lovely, easy key to play in. Was kind of Rory's way of down tuning, so say, without down tuning, and it's a deeper key. I love D minor as well, but yeah, I don't know. There could be a million different reasons why John picked D minor as kind of like one of his favourite keys, but I do think it's because it's got a certain tonal, emotional quality that maybe resonates with him a lot. You know, the same with Rory and a few other guys who kind of like prefer that key. There's just something in that key that it moves them. There's just something in it, you know, that isn't there in other keys. I really love C sharp minor as a key. I love the way you can float C sharp minor over E major. So if you're playing an E chord and play C sharp minor pentatonic, it sounds floaty. It sounds like Jimi Hendrix. I could play around with that for hours, absolutely hours, because I just love the floatiness of it. I do love D minor as well, same as John. I love F sharp minor. F sharp minor is a key. It's like Tom Morello says, when you want to rock hard, lean on F sharp. You know, you get Thin Lizzy. absolutely carried away. So, favourite key, I love them all. I love them all. I love the kind of idiosyncrasy, the stupidness of some keys. Like, but difficult tuning issues, I'm getting attacked by something. The stupid tuning issues with the key of F. You know, and all these kind of little things. I don't know. But, there are certain keys I gravitate more towards: C sharp minor, F sharp minor, D minor, A minor. They're all minors. I'm not really a majory kind of guy. Yeah, but again, as far as what key works for people, it could come down to the way they sing, it could be their style, it could just be there's certain, you know, it could be everything. It could be literally everything that key is, you know. So yeah, it could, yeah, it really could. It's just what appeals to you. Music, playing guitar, everything about that. It's kind of almost like a selfish thing of, you know, you need to do what's right for you. You need to feel it. Otherwise, you know, you can do it, but you can't do it properly. If that makes sense, that's probably a really silly thing to say. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're not feeling it, then you're just going through the motions, and you need to be able to kind of like, you know, get it out there. You know, you really, I mean, it's like Paul Gilbert. You know, Paul Gilbert's a classic example, and John Frusciante is another example, and Jimi Hendrix. When they're playing, they're not doing this. You know, they are absolutely animated. They are going for it, their mouths open, their eyes are closed, they're just lost in that moment, they are totally lost in the music. So yeah, I mean, and again, that goes beyond the key. But I'm digressing now, I'm going well off the point. I like going off on random tangents, so it's quite fun. Anyway, but I hope it's answered your question anyway. But again, why does John prefer D minor? Who knows? It could be a million different reasons why John loves D minor, but we'll never know, because the man just doesn't talk really about. John likes to contradict himself a lot. If you read articles and interviews with him, he'll say one thing one week and then another thing the next week, and I think that's because of his mind. I think that's the way his mind works. I think he is. Things will appeal to him one week, and then the next week that won't appeal to him anymore, and he's moved on to something else. And I think he literally flips from one thing to the other, literally, like you're clicking your fingers. It is literally that kind of quick, which is why I hold out hope that one day, you know, we're going to get more Inside of Emptinesses, and you know, more you know, Neander music and stuff like that, and Curtain. Shadows Collide and stuff like that, because John is a very kind of flitty person. He goes from one thing to another. He has these phases, and I bet that's the way he is with keys in songs as well. Because if you look at, I mean, some songs in By the Way, D minor doesn't get really used a lot in By the Way. There's a lot of strange. I mean, I Could Die for You is not really, that's not in D minor. I mean, Dosed is in E. Quite a lot of songs are in D, come to think of it now. So you don't know. I'm guessing it comes down to kind of how he feels and where his mind's at more than anything else. Because John is one of those people who just does what he does, and unfortunately that makes him a very selfish human being, because he doesn't think about really anybody else in that respect. He only does what he wants to do, and no one's going to stop him from doing that, which is kind of funny, really. But again, musicians like that are fairly selfish. They're very kind of narrow-minded. Well, I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but very tunnel-visioned to what they want to do. So when they kind of latch on to something they want to do, they kind of go at it full pelt. But anyway, I'm rambling on now, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to bore everyone today. But anyway, I hope that's answered all your questions anyway today, okay? Like I say, anybody who wants to help out in the comment section below, please feel free to do so. We're all a community, we all help each other out. We're all musicians, we're all guitarists, we all love the guitar. Let's all help each other along, give each other a helping hand. And yeah, I'll see you again on Friday for another video. I'm not sure quite what it's going to be yet. I've got 2 guitars to demo. And I've got 2 amps coming to demo as well. But I'm not telling you any more about them right now. But I don't know what I'm going to do on Friday yet. We will see. Anyway, I'll see you on Friday. Have a great morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. And goodbye now. Oh, by the way, this song is called Lick My Love Pump.